Hi Pisces, how's it going? I hope you're doing wonderful today. Welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lynn and this is going to be a general reading. I've already cleared the energy of the cards and I've asked Spirit 10 questions. I'll give you the 10 questions to see if you're interested in these, just so I don't waste your time here. So the first question I asked Spirit was, and these are all the answers that came out, all the cards that came out, plus one oracle card. You got the Freedom card. This is from the Sacred Destiny Oracle deck. Okay, so the first question I asked Spirit was, what is the most important message Spirit wants you, Pisces, to understand about your current life path right now? That's the first question, and it goes in this direction here, the answers. What emotional lesson is Pisces currently moving through, and how can they make it easier on themselves? Third one is, what energy or situation is Pisces being asked to release in order to grow? The fourth question is, what is coming toward Pisces in the near future that they should be prepared for? The fifth question is, what does Pisces need to know about love right now, whether they're single, healing, or in a relationship? The sixth question is, what is the truth Pisces needs to see clearly about their current relationships or emotional connections? And then, what is shifting in Pisces is career or purpose or path, and what opportunities are opening up for you. And then I asked, what financial energy surrounds you, Pisces, right now, and how can they improve stability or abundance? The ninth question I asked is, what is Pisces currently healing from on a soul level, even if they're not fully aware of it yet? And then the last question is, what message of encouragement or reassurance does Spirit want Pisces to hold on to right now? Okay, so those are the 10 questions I asked. And then we'll tie it all together with the Oracle card, the Freedom card. So the first card is the Three of Cups reversed. And I asked Spirit, what is the most important message Spirit wants you to understand about your current life path right now? Okay, what is the most important message Spirit wants you, Pisces, to understand about your current life path right now? And the Three of Cups is the card that came out. So when it comes out reversed, it's usually about disconnection, emotional imbalance, or pulling away from certain social energies. So Spirit is pointing to your circle or your emotional support system, or how you're spending your energy with others. And they're saying that something is off right now. Something there is off right now. So some of you are feeling left out or isolated or not fully understood by people around you. And I just also wanted to mention, always check your sun, moon, rising signs, because you're guaranteed to have messages over there too, okay? The second message with this card is, some of you are overindulging in distractions or gossip or escapism instead of emotional honesty. For some, your friendships or social groups feel draining or fake or misaligned. Or this card could mean that you're needing more real emotional connection instead of surface level interaction. So what Spirit is saying is, right now your path is asking you to be more selective with your emotional energy, Pisces, you can easily absorb other people's moods and expectations. So when this card comes out reversed, it's saying not everyone deserves access to your energy right now. You need to protect your energy, okay? You need to step back from anything that feels emotionally messy or draining. You need to pay attention to who actually supports you versus who just takes from you. You need to choose between quality connections over quantity. And if you've been avoiding your own feelings by staying busy socially, then this card is telling you to turn inward. Your current path is about emotional clarity, who is real, who is not, and where your energy actually belongs, okay? So this is a really important message for you today. The second card that came out is the World reversed, and I asked Spirit, what emotional lesson is Pisces currently moving through, and how can they make it easier on themselves? Okay, what emotional lesson are you currently moving through, and how can you make it easier on yourself? So the World reversed is a pretty clear continuation of the energy from the first card. You're in a phase of unfinished emotional cycles. So something isn't fully complete yet. And it's creating a feeling of stuckness or repetition or a lack of closure. So for some of you, it feels like you're almost there, but something keeps delaying the completion, or you're emotionally revisiting the same lesson again and again. This card could mean a chapter ended physically, but not emotionally yet. Or you feel like you should be done with something, but you're not. So Spirit is showing you that you're learning how to fully close emotional cycles instead of carrying them forward unconsciously. So it's about letting go of attachment to how you wish something ended, or accepting reality instead of staying emotionally tied to what could have been, or recognizing when something is truly finished versus when you're still energetically holding it open. So the advice would be to stop forcing closure from outside sources, like waiting for an apology or an explanation, okay? Stop forcing closure from outside sources. Don't wait for that apology. Don't wait for that explanation. Close the energy yourself, okay? Create your own closure emotionally, even if nothing external changes. Avoid reopening old emotional loops with regards to people or memories or patterns, okay? Maybe ask yourself, what are you still holding on to that you already know the truth about? You don't need more time, you need release, is what this card is saying. The World reversed isn't failure, it's just a reminder that you're being asked to fully complete something internally so that you can move forward cleanly. You're not stuck, Pisces, you're still holding on to something that's already over, is what this card is saying. Then the third question I asked Spirit was, What energy or situation is Pisces being asked to release in order to grow? And you got the Queen of Swords reversed. So what energy or situation are you being asked to release, in order to grow? So this is about mental fog, sharp words, emotional defensiveness, distorted thinking. So you're being asked to release harsh mental patterns, either toward yourself or from someone else's influence. So what that means is some of you may be overthinking things until you feel worse than you are. It could represent negative self-talk or self-criticism, like maybe you're saying to yourself, I should have known better, or I always mess things up. Spirit's saying you can't do that anymore, okay? This is a card of miscommunication, assumptions, or jumping to conclusions. It could represent this Queen of Swords reversed, male or female, in a general reading like this, could represent someone in your life who is cold, critical, manipulative, or emotionally cutting, or even you being emotionally guarded because of past hurt. So the advice, what Spirit is saying, is you need to release the need to figure everything out perfectly before feeling safe. I didn't pull a daily card today, but I pulled one yesterday, and the card that came out was the riddle. And it's a really good message. Sometimes, life's a puzzle and we can't figure it out. We don't have all the pieces yet, but it'll come in divine timing. You just have to have faith, okay? Release the need to figure everything out perfectly before feeling safe. Release the habit of protecting your heart by becoming emotionally sharp or detached. Spirit wants you to release that energy. Release any old mental stories that are not actually true anymore. And release any toxic honesty. Release any truth without compassion from yourself or others. You are naturally intuitive, Pisces, and you're naturally emotional. But when this card comes out reversed, the message is that your thoughts are not as clear or fair as you think they are right now. So Spirit is asking you to step out of distorted thinking and back into emotional truth, okay? Not fear-based interpretation. Spirit wants you to step out of any distorted thinking, overthinking, or negative self-thinking, negative self-talk, and step back into emotional truth, okay? And how you do that? Slow your thoughts down before reacting to anything or deciding anything. Take a time out for yourself, okay? Check, is this fact or is this fear talking? And be gentler with your inner voice, okay? Be gentle with yourself. Don't let other people's opinions become your inner truth. And choose clarity over criticism. Spirit wants you to release harsh thinking, especially thoughts that cut you off from your own softness or self-trust. I love that one for you. Okay. The fourth card that came out is the Ten of Pentacles. So the question I asked Spirit is, what is coming toward Pisces in the near future that they should be prepared for? This is an awesome card to get. So again, what is coming toward you, Pisces, in the near future that you should be prepared for? This is one of the strongest future outcome cards that you can get, okay? So something in your near future is moving towards stability, long-term security, and lasting foundations. So what this card is saying is what's coming toward you is financial stability or improvement over time. Or it could be a more secure home situation or living environment. It could indicate long-term commitment to energy like family, marriage, or a serious partnership. It could indicate building something that actually lasts, not temporary situations. It could be support from family or your ancestors or a strong support system. Or this card could indicate a legacy type energy, things finally starting to add up and make sense long term. So what you should be prepared for is taking responsibility in a more grounded way, or making decisions that affect your long-term future, not just short-term feelings, and build consistency, money habits, relationships, or career structure. And you should be prepared for possibly stepping into a more established role or receiving help from a stable source like family or community, an inheritance, or an established opportunity. After going through emotional confusion and unfinished cycles and mental clearing from the previous cards, this is a stabilizing outcome card. What Spirit is saying here is if you clear the emotional noise, you're moving toward real security, okay? You're moving toward long-term stability, either emotionally or financially, or within a family or home life. It's a beautiful card to get. The fifth question was, what does Pisces need to know about love right now, whether single or healing or in a relationship? And you got the Nine of Swords reversed. So in a love position, this is actually a relief card, okay? Compared to if it came out upright like that, okay? You're moving out of anxiety, overthinking, and emotional fear in love. So what you need to know about love right now, is your worst fears are not as real as they feel, or you are or will be coming out of a period of emotional stress in relationships, or you need to know about love right now. Sleepless nights, worry, or what if thinking about love is starting to loosen its grip. And Spirit's also saying that healing is happening, even if it still feels messy or slow. So Pisces, if you're single, you may be releasing fear patterns, like maybe you're saying to yourself, I'll never find the right person. You're releasing that fear now. Or maybe you have the thought, love always ends badly for me. You're releasing that. Or maybe you thought past heartbreak still is influencing how you see new people. You're releasing all that. Okay? Those thoughts are losing their power over you. If you're in a relationship, this card points to communication or emotional tension is starting to calm, or misunderstandings or anxiety between partners are easing, or you may be learning to trust again instead of assuming the worst. And if you're healing, this is a strong sign of emotional recovery after stress or heartbreak or mental overwhelm in love. So what Spirit is saying is love is becoming less about fear and more about clarity. You're learning not every thought you have about love is truth. Love is no longer meant to feel like mental suffering. Healing is already in motion. And then the sixth card is the Nine of Wands. I ask Spirit, what is the truth Pisces needs to see clearly about their current relationships or emotional connections? And this is the card that came out, the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is a wounded but still standing card. It carries a very clear message about boundaries and resilience and emotional exhaustion. So what it's saying is you're dealing with relationships or emotional connections where you've been through a lot and you're still trying to protect yourself. So the Nine of Wands is saying that the truth you need to see is you may be more tired in love or relationships than you're admitting. Or you've been pushing through situations that have already worn you down. Or there's a pattern of staying guarded because of past hurt. Or you may be expecting the emotional hit, even if nothing is happening right now. Or you're stronger than you feel, but also more exhausted than you're acknowledging. In relationships specifically, there may be loyalty, but also emotional fatigue. Maybe you or the other person might be defensive or closed off. Trust may have been tested multiple times. Or Spirit is saying things are not necessarily bad, but they are emotionally heavy. You're not being told to give up, Pisces, but to be honest about your limits. How much longer are you going to stay in survival mode? This card is about realizing that constant emotional endurance is not the same as emotional fulfillment. I really like this message for you. Check where you are staying out of habit. Check where you are staying out of habit or fear or loyalty rather than peace. Make sure you strengthen your boundaries instead of just enduring everything. And make sure you rest emotionally. You don't have to always be on guard. Ask yourself, is this connection helping you heal or just teaching you to tolerate pain? Pisces, you're very strong, but strength without peace becomes exhaustion. It's time to notice what's been wearing you down emotionally. And then the next card is the Ten of Wands. This is amazing. It follows right after it. I ask Spirit, what is shifting in your career or purpose, your path, and what opportunities are opening up for you? And the Ten of Wands came out. Look at the picture. You're carrying way too much right now. In work or life purpose, there's a shift happening toward overload becoming unsustainable. So what is shifting in your career or your purpose or your life path? This card is saying that a heavy workload or a responsibility is reaching its limit. Or you may be realizing you've taken on more than you can keep carrying alone. Or burnout energy is showing up either physically or mentally or emotionally. Or something that once felt manageable now feels draining or excessive. You're starting to see what is not actually yours to keep holding. So what opportunities that are opening up for you? You're learning to delegate, simplify, or restructure your workload. You're learning to let go of roles or tasks or obligations that are draining you. You're moving toward a more balanced, sustainable career path. Or you're realizing you don't have to prove your worth through exhaustion. Or you're preparing for a reset where life becomes more aligned, not just more busy. What Spirit is saying with this card is you've carried this far enough to prove you can. Now it's time to learn you don't have to. Okay? You've carried this far enough to prove you can. Now it's time to learn you don't have to. Okay? Identify what you are doing out of obligation versus purpose. Stop overcommitting just because you can handle it. Look for where support, systems, or structure can be added. And be honest about burnout before it forces a break. Simplify your path instead of expanding it right now. But what Spirit is saying is a heavy workload is pushing you toward a necessary shift. Less overwhelm, more balance, but only if you choose to release what's too much. The 8th question is the 8 of Swords reversed. I asked Spirit, what financial energy surrounds Pisces right now? And how can they improve stability or abundance? Okay, and you got the 8 of Swords reversed. This is actually a release card. So what Spirit is saying is you're coming out of financial fear, limitation thinking, or feeling stuck with money. So the financial energy around you right now, for some, you may have been feeling trapped financially, even if not fully true. Or your anxiety about money is starting to loosen. Or you're realizing some limits were mental and not actual. Or a shift is happening where options are becoming more visible. Or maybe old beliefs, like maybe you've said to yourself, I can't afford this, or I'll never get ahead. Those old beliefs are starting to break down. How can you improve your stability and abundance? With this card, Spirit is saying challenge any scarcity thoughts. Maybe you're exaggerating reality a little bit right now. Start noticing actual available options instead of focusing on lack. Take small practical steps instead of feeling frozen or overwhelmed. Stop letting fear decide financial decisions. Ask yourself, what can you do right now with what you already have? This card is saying you're not as stuck as you think you are. For you especially, fear can feel very real emotionally. But this card says the situation is more flexible than it feels. This card ties directly into the Ten of Wands. With Spirit is saying you've been overburdened and that pressure has been creating a sense of financial or life trapped energy, but it's starting to break. Financially, you're leaving a mental prison. Stability improves as fear-based thinking drops. And then your ninth card is the Sun reversed, Major Arcana. I ask Spirit, what is Pisces currently healing from on a soul level, even if they are not fully aware of it yet? Okay, so the Sun reversed in a soul healing position. This is very important. It's not saying no happiness. It's saying blocked joy, dimmed confidence, or delayed inner light is being repaired. So Pisces, you're healing from not fully feeling like yourself, especially around joy, confidence, and emotional warmth. What you're healing on a soul level, is feeling like happiness has been inconsistent or hard to hold on to, or times where joy felt temporary, followed by disappointment or emotional dips. Or there's low self-trust in your own light or creativity or worth. Or there's a tendency to dim yourself emotionally to avoid disappointment. Or old experience that made joy feel unsafe, fragile, or unreliable. You're healing on a soul level from old experience that made joy feel unsafe, fragile, or unreliable. So maybe you said to yourself, you should feel better than you do, but you don't. Like, I should feel better than I do, but I don't. Or you're losing excitement quickly or struggling to stay emotionally uplifted. Or you're second guessing positive moments instead of fully receiving them. Or you're feeling disconnected from your inner child. You're feeling disconnected from inner child joy or natural optimism. You're learning how to let yourself feel good without waiting for something to take it away. This isn't about rebuilding trust in happiness itself. Well, yeah, it is about rebuilding trust in happiness itself, not just achieving it. So don't pressure yourself to be positive. Just focus on gentle healing instead. Reconnect with small, simple joys, not forced happiness. Notice where you anticipate disappointment before it even happens. Let yourself receive good moments without questioning them. And heal the belief that joy must always be followed by loss. You're healing your relationship with joy. Learning that happiness doesn't have to be temporary or unsafe. This is actually a turning point card. After the heavy energy of the Ten of Wands and the Nine of Swords reversed, this shows the emotional weight lifting, but confidence and joy still needing time to fully return. And then the 10th question I asked Spirit was, what message of encouragement or reassurance does Spirit want Pisces to hold on to right now? And you got the 10 of Cups reversed. So as a final reassurance card, this is not a bad ending here. It's a message about redefining happiness and expectations around emotional fulfillment. So Spirit is telling you that the picture of perfect happiness you've been chasing or expecting may not look the way you thought, but real happiness is still available. You don't need a perfect life or perfect relationships to be emotionally fulfilled. Idealized versions of love or family or how life should look may be shifting now. Emotional fulfillment is being rebuilt in a more real, grounded way. You're being guided away from fantasy expectations and into authentic emotional truth. So what this is not saying, it's not saying no happiness. It's not saying family or love is ruined. It's saying don't measure your life against an ideal that isn't fully real or sustainable for you, okay? You're being guided to understand real emotional fulfillment is not perfect, it's honest. Sometimes you can idolize love or connection or future outcomes, but this card gently corrects that by saying stop waiting for a perfect emotional ending, or start recognizing real emotional support in imperfect places. Fulfillment comes from authenticity, not perfection. Okay? Release what you thought life had to look like so you can receive what is actually real and sustainable. You're being guided toward real emotional fulfillment, not perfect fantasy fulfillment. And that is where your stability and peace begin. And then the oracle card is freedom. You're being guided into a phase of emotional, mental, and life release, becoming freer from pressure, expectations, and heavy emotional baggage. What freedom is saying in this reading is, after everything that at the beginning of the reading, the overwhelm, the mental stress, unfinished cycles, fear, burnout, and redefined happiness, this card is the resolution. This is the freedom from overthinking, with the Nine of Swords reversed and the Eight of Swords reversed. This is freedom from emotional exhaustion and survival mode, with the Nine of Wands and the Ten of Wands. This is freedom from old cycles that never fully closed, with the World reversed. This is freedom from unrealistic expectations of love and happiness, with the Ten of Cups reversed and the Sun reversed. And this is freedom from draining or misaligned social or emotional dynamics, with the Three of Cups reversed. This isn't about escaping life. It's about stopping the inner and outer patterns that have been weighing you down. You're not meant to live this tightly anymore. What you're stepping into is lighter emotional energy, more personal space and independence, clearer boundaries with people and responsibilities, less mental noise, less emotional overprocessing, and a life that feels more self-directed instead of emotionally reactive. Freedom here doesn't come from everything changing instantly. It comes from you releasing attachment to what's been draining you. You're moving out of emotional heaviness and into a freer, more self-owned version of your life. But it requires letting go of what's been keeping you mentally and emotionally trapped. So basically what Spirit is saying with this card is to release what is heavy, redefine what happiness means, and step into a freer, lighter version of your life. Okay? This is exactly where you're heading. Release heaviness, redefine happiness, and step into emotional freedom and clarity. So that is your reading, Pisces. Thank you so much for letting me channel these messages today. I hope you receive some insider guidance there. Let me know how it goes. I'm sending you lots of love and strength, and I'll see you next time. Take good care. Bye.